And I said we would be back. I just didn't think it would be this quickly, and it is, unfortunately. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of DeKalb County till 1:30. Meteorologist Bill Murray here live in Studio A at the Alabama Weather Network with Emily Kirk here at Columbia. I'm at the Eagle position on this Friday afternoon, July the 3rd, and there is our severe thunderstorm warning. Emily, if we can zoom in on reflectivity maybe and pause our laps here, and you can use your really cool box zoom there. Practice using that a little bit. It's kind of hard to do. It's an acquired skill, yeah. If you start off to the right of it, it makes it it's a little more effective, and then you can just zoom back out and get it. But you can see the cores. Yeah, that's a good look right here. The strongest part of the storm is just north of DeSoto State Park, between the park and Valley Head, and it's going to be affecting areas. Fort Payne, you're in the polygon. Henniger areas generally east of Sylvania, over to Valley Head and DeSoto State Park. Emily, if you can kind of zoom in, we'll get even closer and look at some of these areas that we're talking about. From Mentone over to Hammondville, back to the west toward US 11. These are our primary areas, and you see we've got a really strong reflectivity return here just to the northeast of the park. Put it in motion over the last 15 minutes or so, and we'll kind of take a peek at what the actual motion is. You can see it's very slowly to the southwest. And if I get over here, it might actually make things a little easier on Emily. The lightning has come down just a bit, just in that core. And I don't know if that's really a trend or not. But if you kind of back out just a little bit, Emily, and you can see what we're looking at. And then we'll spend more time on the velocity pixel queries on this one too, because this is a part of Alabama where we're extremely forested, and just nothing really showing up right now. What radar are we looking at, Emily? As we're coming from the high top radar, so we're very close right here, and nothing right now. But when we have that kind of suspension of precipitation particles in the atmosphere, rain, tons of rain and hail suspended in the atmosphere, it's going to have to come down at some point. The Weather Service in Huntsville knows that, and that's why they've issued this severe thunderstorm warning. So you can see the amber polygon, and let's turn those special weather statement polygons off just so we can remove the confusion just by right-clicking on that little down arrow on the alerts tab. There we go. You can see our warning that goes until 1:30 for portions of DeKalb County. Areas from Henniger over to Valley Head, down to the park, and down to Fort Payne. And back to reflectivity, Emily. That's going to tell us the best story here. This is the core of the storm. Just in areas northeast of Fort Payne, moving slowly to the west-southwest. It's probably going to be able to rain itself out fairly quickly. You see all these storms along Lookout Mountain that formed earlier. They've weakened as they've moved off the brow of the mountain here toward Highway 11, toward Fife, Rainsville, Sylvania, those areas. Emily, back to the southwest though, near Fife, that cell's really getting its act together. And I think we're going to have to watch that one a lot, because it's really coming together here south of Shiloh, southeast of Fife. That's going to be the next storm of concern. It's going to be drifting to the west here toward Alabama 75 in that corridor, moving toward Fife. Be watching for very strong winds. Not much lightning yet, but it's only a matter of time until we get the charge separation that we need. As we can see here, Emily putting the velocities, just not much there yet. We're not looking for rotation, we're looking for wind. And you see the strongest wind pixels we could find there were in the 35 mile per hour category. But this storm is still in the organizing phase. it'll be moving toward the west, toward Moore's Crossroads. The storm of concern at this hour is this one northeast of Fort Payne, near DeSoto State Park. Lots of folks camping in the lodge at the state park today, out and around today. They're hearing thunder, not much lightning and thunder, but there was a little bit earlier. Very heavy rain here, but with all of this precipitation, you can see these heavier reflectivity echoes, all of this rainfall and hail that is suspended aloft. That is what's going to have to come back down at some point. So, Emily, if you have anything that you see that we want to talk about, please make sure that we cover that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're kind of focusing on northeast Alabama, but we've got storms in other parts of the state.
Yep, so I just wanted to pull up the section camera because it is far away from the storm right now, but it's the closest camera we do have to the storm, and you can see those clouds are really billowing up on the horizon there. Temperature of 88 degrees, so it's hot, and we've got a dew point of 77 degrees, so it's humid, and that is what these storms need to do something, you know, and get really moving. And so these storms are moving into an area where it's not worked over by any storms yet. You know, this is the first of the day. We've been watching this storm since it was a teeny tiny little special weather statement storm right there on the Georgia and Alabama border. And so now it's moving across. It's really just exploded across northeast Alabama. So I just wanted to show the section camera really quickly. We'll probably watch that for, you know, the next few minutes as we watch this storm come through, because it's far away, but, you know, we maybe can see some storms as we get closer towards that area. So
yeah, all the storms today have got the potential to produce pea-sized hail, and I don't know what our hail products are showing, Emily. The Weather Service in Huntsville noting that not going to see much here, but maybe a little bit right there. And I'm kind of standing in the way. Maybe if you can move the radar imagery, yeah, that's perfect. The best chance for seeing a little bit of hail right now is in that cell southeast of Fife, and especially in the cell that's there near DeSoto State Park, southeast of Valley Head, back to the northeast. That's our best chance, for seeing some hail. If you see hail that's larger than the size of nickels, make sure that you report it, to the National Weather Service, or to us here at the Alabama Weather Network. Please send your pictures. You can use our app. If you don't have our app, please download it. It's free. Has all of our radars available on it, all of those products. You can just click on submitting user photos there, and they come right to us here in the studio. But this kind of tells the story where the heavier reflectivity echoes are, and that's where some hail may be falling in these areas. These are just really strong storms over North Alabama today, working with a lot of energy. We have a marginal risk over the northern third of the state. And Emily, in fact, if you can pull that up, that would be great. And she's reading my mind. Areas north of a line, generally from Tuscaloosa to Alex City, are in our TAMCO Hail Guard outlook today from the Storm Prediction Center, the day one convective outlook from the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma. And the threat here today is damaging winds. That's what we're concerned about as we celebrate America's 250th birthday on this July 3rd. Rest of the state, some garden variety storms. Can't rule out a damaging wind gust here and there, and always are concerned about lightning anytime in the summertime. And of course, the old adage applies with any summer thunderstorm: when thunder roars, you go indoors. That's very, very important. So back to the radar on this Friday afternoon. It's 12:54. You're watching the Alabama Weather Network, and we thank you for joining us in our live coverage. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning for DeKalb County until 1:30. There are strong thunderstorms in West Alabama as well. They did prompt a severe thunderstorm warning earlier for parts of Pickens and Lamar County. Emily's centering up on those now, and she'll be switching over to the Columbus radar so we can take a peek at those. Moving right over the radar right now, the Weather Service in Memphis does have a severe thunderstorm warning for Monroe County, Mississippi. You see it here in this amber polygon. That cell really ramped up as it crossed the Mississippi border and down to the northwest of Malloy and south of Sulligent. We watched it, but we never really saw the strong winds at Sulligent in Lamar County. Areas around and northwest of Malloy, that's where those winds were the strongest. Probably saw some 40, 50 mile an hour winds, maybe a damaging wind gust, not out of the question there. Could have been a couple of trees down in western Lamar County as that stronger storm pushed out of that area. But you see right now, just light rain north and west of Vernon up to Sulligent. And we'll take a peek at our Sulligent camera here in just a minute. There is a cell just to the southeast of Sulligent that is beginning to ramp up a little bit. Not severe, just heavy rain and lightning, some gusty winds associated with that too. And all of this activity is going to continue pushing to the west. Still didn't see a wind gust over 5 miles an hour. 75 degrees. It was 94 degrees at Sulligent just a while ago. And we'll zoom that camera around in a bit and get the best view. But you can see now looking much quieter than it was a little bit ago. 74 degrees with a dew point of 72. Now a light northerly wind there on our region Skycam network view from Sulligent in northern Lamar County. So lots to look at and talk about across the state of Alabama. Our very own James Spann tomorrow will be at American Village. Lots of celebrations there today, all day. America's 250 going on there in Montevallo, and there are just too many celebrations today and tomorrow to count. I can remember exactly 50 years ago watching all the activities on that July 4th when America was celebrating its 200th birthday, and just being so excited and getting to see all that again tomorrow morning. The heaviest core is right over DeSoto State Park now. Little River Falls and all of that beautiful, magnificent area in DeKalb County. Heavy cell now south of Fort Payne. We'll put all this in motion and just kind of get a general idea of what's going on in terms of tracking where you are and where the heavy rain is. You can see the storms are sort of expanding. The lightning totals are coming up slowly. So rain and thunderstorms are going to continue to increase over northeast Alabama through the afternoon. Now, we were hoping that the rain, and storms would gradually diminish as we get into the mid-afternoon. That is what our convective allowing models are showing, and we'll pull those up in a little bit and kind of walk through those together, because we really want all this activity to die down as we get into the late afternoon. But pausing the radar back again so we can get our bearings, but you can see activity here over northeast Alabama now. From Ider approaching Henniger, in the Sylvania area, down to Rainsville, areas just north and east of Fife to near Shiloh. That's where the heaviest rain is on this front side. Emily, what you got?
Really quickly, I do have a video of some hail and mid-tone from this storm. If I'm going to take WEXO 5 really quickly.
Please,
so
that's great. Let's do that.
So let me press play here, back it up and press play. So it's not big hail like we mentioned just a little bit ago. We're not expecting to see a lot of big hail, it's pea-sized hail, excuse me, like we've seen the past few days. But these storms are certainly producing some hail. And we had looked at the hail product just a little bit ago on radar, and we were seeing some areas where maybe that was occurring, and it was right over Mentone. So we appreciate all of your videos and pictures that you're sending in. I am trying to watch it, but I am also on radar, so if I miss something or I don't show it, it doesn't mean we love to see all of them, and we really appreciate all that you guys send us. This is from Denise Colson from Facebook, so we really appreciate this. It just helps us really understand what's going on the ground too, because it's one thing to look at radar, but it's incredibly helpful to look at the actual ground truth. So we do have some hail in Mentone from just a little bit ago. I haven't seen any other hail reports, but I'm sure more will come in soon. The other day we had hail reports coming in, and Spann said it was like a hail video per second. So hopefully we don't have that today. That's not what we want to see, but I definitely won't be able to keep up with it today if that's the case.
Well, any hail reports in June and July are significant, Emily, and even hail of this size is impressive to me in the heat of an Alabama summer on a day when temperatures are in the 90s. That is impressive, and it shows the vigorous nature of these updrafts today.
And we just had John Talbot, one of our sky watchers, reported that his family member was reporting pea-sized hail in Rock Creek. So, like I mentioned, I just said we're expecting to see some more hail reports, and here they come.
Yeah, so let's go out there and look from western Jefferson County back through west central Alabama in the I-20-59 corridor, because we do have active thunderstorms now from western parts of the Birmingham metro area, and first we'll stop and look at our severe thunderstorm warning, DeKalb County, till 1:30. Active thunderstorms now developing over the rest of DeKalb County. The Weather Service in Birmingham choosing to issue a special weather statement. The Weather Service in Huntsville issuing a special weather statement for these areas right now, and that's understandable. That eventually they may get upgraded to a severe thunderstorm warning too. Emily, popping on the white polygon there. Colby, welcome back. You can't go away for a minute. Look what happens. We just we broke the weather while you were gone. But Emily, if we can zoom down, maybe look at the north central Alabama portion, and then we're going to come back over to East Alabama. The Weather Service in Birmingham has a special weather statement now for western Jefferson, the extreme northeastern part of Tuscaloosa County. And Emily's going to get used to that box zoom at some point. That thing is hard to master. And yeah, you learn. You kind of center to the right of it, and then expand out, and slide the radar a little bit to the left for me there. The other left, my other left. There. Heavy rain right now from west of Sylvan Springs and Hueytown out through Oak Grove. That's where John Talbot was picking up that pea-sized hail. So you can see some of those magentas. I don't know what our hail product might show in these areas. Probably nothing super impressive, but yeah, that's where we're going to see that pea-sized hail. It's going to be right there from Sylvan Springs back through Oak Grove, any of these areas. That's impressive, for this time of year, for sure. And you see the white polygon here, special weather statement. Emily throwing the reflectivity back on, and that shows us mainly what's going on. Any kind of wind signatures in this area, Emily? I wouldn't think so, but we want to keep a really close eye on it. And anything you see on Gibson Ridge, Colby, that makes you think, that we got a downburst signature developing on any of this stuff. Everybody's doing about 5 jobs here today.
Yeah.
But that's the fun part. You can see, you're probably getting 20, 25, 30, maybe even some 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts here in western Jefferson County. This pushing to the west-southwest. It's going to be moving into northeastern Tuscaloosa County. Let's go back to reflectivity and kind of slide to the southwest now. Storms near Kellerman. Not much really in the way of lightning in this activity. Got a new warning. Colby can tell us what that is if he's mic'd up.
But it's a severe thunderstorm.
Okay, so they're going to put a severe thunderstorm warning on the storm near Sulligent, and that makes sense because that activity has a history, and I think that's the storm that we were just talking about, Emily, and I think we'll see it populate our barren box here in just a second. So maybe we'll turn, yep, there we go. A pretty big severe thunderstorm warning that's going to include parts of Marion, and I'll move out of the way and let you slide the radar back to the left there. But it's going to go back into northern Lamar and also include parts of Fayette County as well. So give us the big picture there, Emily, so we can kind of look at that together.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
That's going to include Fayette, Lamar, and Marion counties, and that warning is going to be in effect until 1:45. So you can see what we're looking at here. Areas doesn't include Fayette, doesn't include Belk, but it does include Brilliant and Guin, as well as Sulligent, and goes right up to Hamilton in Marion County. So till 1:45, new severe thunderstorm warning. This activity out here has been some of the most concerning. And we're going to look at some velocities, kind of zooming in right here. These storms have been our most concerning on the west side of the state. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning for DeKalb County too, and we'll keep a very close eye on it. But you know, this is where we saw a downburst earlier in those areas northwest of Malloy that crossed over into Mississippi. So we'll be watching that. But this is where things are most active on this Friday afternoon. Probably right here might be our best downburst signature. Emily, maybe put that in motion, and if we watch what's going on right there, there might be a little downburst signature developing.
Yep.
Right there. What does the reflectivity look like in that area? That's our cell, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah, I think that's probably the cell of most concern. I'd get over there and this higher reflectivity return. I think what you're seeing right here is the wind is hitting the ground somewhere right in this area. So we'll see stronger winds, moving in all directions. But it looks like the bigger emphasis is crossing US 278 and pushing to the south as well. Areas kind of between Beaverton and Sullivan. So the Weather Service issuing this large severe thunderstorm warning. This is where that core is, south of Beaverton. So if you're in this area, just be in a structure. We don't want you out driving around, don't want you outside, don't want a tree falling on you or in a vulnerable car or a part of a house or part of a manufactured home where you could be injured. That's the most important part. Most dangerous part of the storm right now is right here south of US 278, and the winds are going to expand out toward Sullivan and Beaverton. We can look at our Sullivan camera again when we get a second. One of our incredible meteorologists on the floor with me here today can take a peek at that. I don't know if we're looking back, but now the warnings are coming fast and furious. So Emily, what have you got?
Severe thunderstorm warning for DeKalb and Jackson County.
Okay, so the Weather Service in Huntsville is we're going to have dueling severe thunderstorm warnings now, and we'll bounce back and forth between the northeastern part of the state and the west central part of the state here on this Friday afternoon because the radar is awfully busy at this point. So going back to the radar now, and we've got a new severe thunderstorm warning that has just been issued by the National Weather Service in Huntsville. And this new severe thunderstorm warning goes until 2 p.m. for Jackson and DeKalb counties and covers another large area there from Henniger up to Eider and covers a large part of that. So, Emily, let's kind of zoom in and tell everybody who's in and who's out.
Absolutely.
Here. And
all the way, let's see. Where do you want me to start? You want me to
yeah, let's start
here?
in the north and
Okay.
just give me, that's a good, maybe a little bit out from that, and clear off the actual warning box. There we go. So starting on the northern side there, you're defined by an area from about Higdon back to the southwest. So areas from Higdon back to Flat Rock, along Alabama 117, down to Eider and Rosalie. This is the area that's in the severe thunderstorm warning that's just been issued by the National Weather Service in Huntsville. Over to Sulphur Springs, all the way to the Georgia border, further south as you go to Henniger and Fairview. That's where this warning, back to the west, the western boundaries of it. Emily, if you'll kind of cross back over here, it's going to carry right up to areas just north of Dutton. We've got our existing severe thunderstorm warning at 110 that carries these areas from Hammondville, Valley Head. The activity around DeSoto State Park is much less than it was. Look at the rest of that area. As a matter of fact, that warning has gone off the map now. Is that true, Emily?
Yes, I believe so. I don't.
And that's the right call.
Yes, it was canceled for DeKalb County.
So we've got one warning on the board in the Huntsville CWA now, and that makes sense. bigger picture, northeast Alabama, just so we can kind of get an idea. We've got this storm near Fife and Rainsville that is producing gusty winds, lightning, very heavy rain. Not severe at this time. We're keeping a close eye on it. Got very heavy rain just south of Fort Payne. This is where most of our activity is. DeKalb County, you're getting bombed right now into eastern portions of Jackson County. Other significant weather advisory, not important. Up here in northern Jackson County, that's where the next little cell was. And put that in motion up there and kind of zoom in on it, Emily, so we can kind of see what its motion is. It's right there on top of the radar. Areas near Still Fork. It's really growing. And so we'll kind of watch that. Sitting right on the Alabama-Tennessee border. And the Weather Service in Huntsville has a special weather statement issued for this area. So we'll watch that, because it's growing upscale too. And that's going to be something to watch. So bigger picture, northeast Alabama. We'll spend another second here. You see our section Skycam in the box behind me. Anniston and Calhoun County as well. I think that says 95 degrees. Good gracious, it is a hot day. That's the other big story. If you're not in an area that's being affected by thunderstorms this afternoon, you are certainly in an area that's being affected by heat. So please keep that in mind. Colby, what you got?
It's like I was just gonna say it's the kind of weather where you walk outside your house and it feels like you're swimming.
I was trying to think of analogies today on the drive in, because what did Spann say on our opening video? Summer sets in like a wet blanket. And,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. You can come up with a lot of analogies, and that's a good one, Colby. But this is northeast Alabama, and Emily, let's switch over to northwest Alabama and use our Columbus radar, because we've been very active there in Lamar and Pickens counties for the past couple of hours. And
I'll get that. I'll get that zoom.
That poor box zoom. It is a master's level process to learn that. If you'll pause the radar for me for a second. Areas from northwestern Fayette County. Storms are growing still in those areas there, north and west of Fayette, back into mainly northern Lamar County, but they're eventually going to work their way up into southern Marion County. Areas along I-22, along Alabama 5, there from Brilliant down to Guin, back to Winfield. That's where it's going to be, this activity is going to be lifting to the north, over to Detroit. Sulligent's pretty much out of it now, for now. We'll move in real closely in this area and look at winds, because that's our primary concern today, is keep people safe from two things: winds and lightning. We really were concerned about the potential of a downburst in this area, and so far looks like the peak winds are about 35-40 miles an hour, spreading out from that wet microburst, that downburst that's right here in northern Lamar County. Now, it'll lose impetus as it moves on out, I think, and that's good news. What did our Sulligent camera show, if anything?
Nothing. It went down.
It went down?
Yeah, it went down during the last storm that went through there, so it's probably something related to that. We'll probably get it back in the next couple hours or so.
Okay, all right. So we don't have a wind report from Sulligent, but anyway, so some power outage or some sensor report there, and that's one of the vagaries of weather reporting, is that nature has a way of taking out our sensors when we kind of need them the most. But Emily, back to the reflectivity here for a second, and we can remove our pixel queries there. This primary core still is our main thing right here. And zooming in on it, we can kind of take a look. But it's raining to beat the band right now from Detroit all the way back to Beaverton, all along US 278 between Sulligent and Beaverton here in central Lamar County. This is the primary core, and putting it in motion over the last 15 minutes. Not much lightning, but the precipitable water values over Alabama today are running 2 to 2 1/4 inches, which is extremely high. you know, just extremely moist, extremely humid air, kind of top of the scale. The only thing that, you know, has been keeping us from widespread showers and thunderstorms, and we've experienced, you know, fairly widespread showers and storms during the afternoon and evening hours the last few days, just because the atmosphere boils over. And, you know, a lot of those storms have been strong to severe just because of all the heat and humidity that's available. The energy in the atmosphere is just tremendous. And when you have that. Now, in coming days, our coverages are going to increase. We're going to see more showers and thunderstorms, but the severity is going to decrease, which is good news. We still are going to have strong storms from time to time, but the amount of severe storms that we're going to have, I have a feeling will be decreasing as we get into the coming weeks. As long as we get through today and tomorrow, I think we're going to still see some strong thunderstorms around, but I think we'll see more storms starting Sunday into next week, but those storms hopefully will be less severe. Emily, I think there's a trend toward weakening possibly on that core near Beaverton, which we would expect if it's raining itself out. If you have any observations, just jump in. Colby, you the same. Colby, what you got? Anything? Just a thumbs up. That's good. Watching the activity back here in northern Fayette County, because just as our activity in Lamar County seems to be weakening a bit, our activity in Fayette County seems to be coming up. Areas from Bluff up to Wayside. This is north of Fayette, and it's moving generally to the northwest. So it's going to be moving in the general direction of southeastern Lamar County, maybe up toward Guin. We'll see. Winfield, so far, you're staying okay. The lightning is close enough for you to be inside, though, so please take it seriously. You're probably hearing thunder right now from Guin, and Guin, one of the little towns right here between Guin and Winfield. Guin is one of the neat Alabama places, back to Glen Allen, up to Yampertown, and Brilliant in Marion County. So this is what we're looking at. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning for all of this area in west central Alabama. Back on the east side of the state, we'll take one more stop there. I want to keep you posted about that because we've got a severe thunderstorm warning in the northeast corner of Alabama for parts of Jackson and DeKalb counties. And just have some sympathy on Emily while she's learning this. That was better while she's learning this box zoom, because box zoom is the hardest thing to learn on the Barron system. But this is our polygon right here. The Weather Service in Huntsville has a severe thunderstorm. We'll zoom a severe thunderstorm warning in effect, and we'll track all of these storms here in northeast Alabama. So if you can zoom me in right here, Emily, it'd be nice if we could take off the special weather statements when you get a chance. Pause the radar, ask you to do 50 things at once, and we're looking at Huntsville, I assume. I can't follow the sweep. There's the sweep. And zoom me out a little bit so I can pick out my cores. And it looks like my best core is there east of Flat Rock and southwest of Henniger. Those are my two best cores at this point. You know, maybe a little bit of structure on this storm. I wouldn't expect much today. The main thing about these storms today is just going to be heavily loaded atmospheres, full of rain, full of hail, just waiting for the opportunity to fall out of the sky. And that's what's going on right now. The lightning, not too intense, but getting about 4 strikes per minute in this area. You see our lightning counter is at 11. That's 11 cloud-to-ground lightning strikes every 3 minutes. And that doesn't count intra-cloud strikes, which you can't see as well during the day. But there's our primary core. You see a little core of lightning strikes associated with it. Another cell here near Henniger. But all this area in the amber polygon, you're going to be watching for 60-mile-per-hour winds. And all of these storms, you're going to be watching for lightning. If you see darkened clouds developing in your area, we want you to check your Alabama Weather Network radar out. And if you see cells beginning to develop in your area, that's your first sign to be on alert. And then when because you're not going to get thunder before that first lightning strike. That can't happen. That's not possible. The first lightning strike comes unwarned. You hear thunder after the first one. But when you hear thunder, that's your definite signal that you have to go indoors. And you see a couple of cameras up here behind me that Colby has pulled up from section in Jackson County where it's still 89 degrees. And Alabaster, beautiful fair weather cumulus there. I don't think it's 72 degrees in Alabaster, Colby. I don't know about you, but that's wishful thinking at best. Albertville and Marshall County, where they had some incredible lightning last night. 89 degrees on top of Sand Mountain there. 75 degrees is the dew point from our region Skycam network. That looks better.
I just checked. It is definitely not 79 degrees in Alabaster.
That looks much more like it. 94 degrees with a dew point of 75. What does that make the heat index in Anniston? And currently 90 degrees in Birmingham. Look, that's good. Yeah, that makes it fun for me up here. Looking back to the east from regions, the region Skycam, northwest Alabama from Cherokee, where it's 89 degrees. That's kind of cool. But I'm going to be like a puppy chasing rabbits. Colby, what?
The heat index in Anniston is about 110.
So that's why we have a heat advisory in effect. And Emily, maybe if you pull whichever links box would be, I don't think we have heat. I guess I may take one of Colby's smaller boxes down, but we've got a heat advisory for much of the state of Alabama. Really only southwestern Alabama and the southeastern part, the Wiregrass, escapes that. This is going to go through Saturday evening. You see all of our alerts here, but this area in orange is a heat advisory. It goes through tomorrow night. For North Alabama, it technically goes through 7 tomorrow night, and for Central Alabama, it technically goes through 9. But just suffice it to say, it goes through tomorrow evening. You see, we've got 2 severe thunderstorm warnings on the board. One for parts of Marion, Lamar, and Fayette counties in West Alabama. That goes until, what time is that, 2:15, Emily, is that right? And 2 p.m. in Jackson and DeKalb. Okay, 1:45 for Lamar, Fayette, and Marion counties. Now you see special weather statements that are scattered around. Those are thunderstorm alerts. One in the western portion of Jefferson County moving back into Tuscaloosa County. We'll zoom in on that I-59 corridor in a minute. And we got one over here by Carrollton, Georgia. It's getting ready to move into East Alabama. Colby, you got anything? Are you good?
Yes, I have. I just pulled up our Tempest heat index graphics that we have up on links 2 or links 3 if you'd like to go through.
I'd love that. Let's do it. We are so excited about our Tempest Neighborhood Weather Network, and Colby has done a tremendous job, working on pulling this information in, because there are 1,200 of these stations, and we're going to be working really closely with our sky watchers here in coming days. But Colby, take it away. Tell us what you see.
Starting off in Central Alabama, you can really tell where the previous storms have gone through, because especially near reform areas like that, the heat index is only in the 70s to some 80s near Tuscaloosa. But to really get the higher numbers, you have to go where the storms haven't gone through yet. So if we look at the Birmingham Metro, all these pinks are over 110, where we're getting heat indices over there, and even all the way up to Coleman, we're looking at 110 around Coleman High School. And then if we go a little bit north, we can go to over near section where that storm has been, near Fort Payne. We're looking at only 74 to the northeast of Fort Payne, and then south it's 90. So definitely a very strong temperature gradient for where we have already had storms with the rain cool air that comes off. But as we get into Huntsville, you can see that it's around 110, 111 on the heat indexes over there. And then even we have a lot that are even higher, like just south of southwest of Decatur, we're looking at 123 according to our Tempest weather stations. Russellville 104, very very high heat indices. But as we keep going, if we head back down south around Utah, that area has also seen a couple of showers and thunderstorms this afternoon so far. And you can see Utah at the City Hall only 97, which feels very, very temperate compared to what we've had recently. And then Livingston, only 78, which might as well be a cold winter's day, right? But as we go a little bit to the east, where it hasn't rained as much, just in the city of Montgomery, we're looking at around 100 to, as you go a little bit further north, maybe even north of 110. So a very, very, very warm day. As we move down all the way to the southern part of Alabama, it's basically the same story, if not a little cooler, which is very nice. I mean, a heat index of 96 in Evergreen is significantly better than what we've been experiencing recently. So let me find the coastal one. Unfortunately, I do not have the coastal one ready. I guess I just forgot to make that one when I went through making them, but it is very, very warm, as you can see, throughout the entire state, which is one of those reasons that we are having such high thunderstorm activity because of the high temperatures. Emily, do you have anything?
One second.
All right. Until then, we can.
Oh, there it
Bill, do you have
goes.
anything?
I have Wexo 5 ready if you're.
All right, I will pull that up.
Perfect. Okay, so we also had a special weather statement for some storms in Jefferson County, that western portion of Jefferson County, just a little bit ago. It's now expired, but we did see some small hail with that. So this is in Concord, Alabama, and so we did see some pea-sized hail reports from that area, as well as I know we don't have our Celigent cameras, so we do have a viewer in Celigent right now. So she is sending us pictures. This is from Angela Harbison, so you can see that storm coming through the area there. A pretty nice view there, not too shabby compared to our Celigent camera, so we appreciate that. And then we also saw some carport damage in Huntsville. Let me pull up where exactly this was. It was on Lacey Road in Henniger. So we are starting to see some higher wind damage come through that area. We're also seeing dime-sized hail in Rosalie. So again, small hail, strong winds. You're going to see, some damage to roofs, especially if they're weaker, trees as well. And then with that storm we were talking about in West Jefferson, we were seeing some dime-sized hail in that area. There was a tree down on Taylor Ferry Road. That report came in a while ago now. That small hail in Concord, like I mentioned. So, we do have some damage reports coming in, but nothing too, widespread. Luckily, we're not seeing too much damage right now, and we're seeing small hail, which is good as well, because the smaller the hail, obviously, the less damage that it will produce. So that's really all right now. I know I'm seeing some special weather statements being issued for that northeastern corner of the state, but we still only have those two special weather statements. Two severe thunderstorm warnings in effect in the state right now. So that's what I have.
Yeah, and you can take that, take links 1.
Oh, 1.
And that's the University of Alabama camera from Tuscaloosa. And the storm there, then Emily, you can show on links 2 when you have it pulled up. But that's west of, and I didn't notice, I guess the wind gust at our Skycam was 34 miles an hour. But interestingly, Tuscaloosa has had 1.45 inches of rain today. And all of that came in that cell as it moved over in the last hour or so. Emily, you and I were looking at the just toad-strangling rain that was falling in Tuscaloosa. The visibility went literally to 0. But very heavy rain now, just west of the city of Tuscaloosa, west of Coker, along and south of US 82 in western Tuscaloosa County. Now, so that's not severe in any way, which is great news. But we do have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. One in northwest Alabama that continues for parts of Marion, Lamar, and Fayette counties. And we'll kind of keep an eye on that from our Columbus radar. and just get a general idea of what's going on. It lasts until 1:45. It's 1:30 here at the Alabama Weather Network. And Emily, kind of put that in motion, zoom in, get a good, yeah, that's a good look. A lot of the activity is over in Mississippi at this point. A lot of that lightning activity. See how much of the polygon, you can close in on, so we can get a kind of an accurate lightning count. And it's really come down a lot, I think.
Yes, I think so.
That's good news. You got a little bit of a core right here crossing over the border from Fayette County, moving up, like we said it was going to, into southern portions of Marion County here on old US 78 between Winfield and Gewin, moving into that part. New cell forming just north and east of Gewin and Yampertown. You're getting a lot of pulse thunderstorm activity today. Storms are going up quickly. They're going to collapse fairly quickly. I was looking at some values from our thunderstorms in northeast Alabama. Cape values are approaching 5,000 joules of Cape, which is just really top of the scale for Alabama. And you say, well, why are we not all dying right now? Well, we can get tremendous Cape, and that's just going to happen in Alabama. But the effective shear, the bulk shear today, is only about 10 knots. So these storms just can't get super organized. So they're just big, heavy rain, lightning, and damaging wind producers, which is bad enough. Well, we have to deal with that this time of year. Fortunately, not enough organization or shear there for tornadoes, and the atmosphere just way too warm for big hail. And the lack of the shear just not giving it a chance to organize enough for there to be hail. We're certainly seeing lots of pea-sized hail reports, but I think, Emily, we can kind of confirm that these cells have probably passed their peak now.
Some of that wind velocity really quickly too.
Yeah, let's take a peek at that. You can
how
see
that's doing.
You can pixel query some of those, Emily.
And we're still seeing 25, 27, maybe 30 mile per hour wind gusts, but we were seeing 35, 40, and so we're starting to see that downward trend, which is good. And this warning does expire at 1:45, so I do expect it to do so, unless it does decide to pick back up. We'll see about that, but.
Yeah, hopefully it'll continue to kind of go downhill, watching this cell right here, but, no really intense reflectivity through any of this. So I think, I don't see any reflectivity that's above 60 dBz, which is just nerdy talk for, really intense, very heavy rain and hail. I think I think, Colby and Emily, you can correct me if I'm wrong, when it gets to magenta, that's when we're getting above 60 decibels. And that's very, very nerdy, but to say that gets our attention. It definitely gets our attention when it turns purple. This is just heavy rain, folks. 12 lightning strikes every 3 minutes, that's dangerous if you're outside, but it's not especially severe. I don't know what our Prop Severe products look like over in that area, Emily, but I bet they're in the 15-20% range now up here in northwest Alabama. So that's good. Weather Service. Oh, good. That's good. That's these storms are weakening and just producing heavy rain now, occasional lightning. And some cooling, gusty winds north of US 278. You're going to get a little bit of nature's air conditioning here in a minute or two, and that's great. We'll go back and look at northeast Alabama in just a second, because we've been doing dueling warnings all afternoon. We've still got this one severe thunderstorm warning in the northeastern part of Alabama that continues for parts of DeKalb and a little bit of Jackson County. And, everything is lined up there now from the northwest of Ider and Henniger back to Sylvania. Somebody will go crazy here and say, oh, I see a hook echo. Nothing to worry about there, folks. That's a creepy looking echo. I'm going to coin that phrase. This is a creepy looking echo. North of Rainsville, got heavy rain, Fife down to east of Geraldine. DeKalb County's been kind of ground zero for all of our activity today. This severe thunderstorm warning expires what, 1:45? Emily, is that right? 2 p.m. So it goes until 2 for Jackson and DeKalb counties. You see this general motion to the northwest. Still have a heavy couple of cores here that get our attention. You see that magenta just northwest of Ider in those areas, and that's getting above 50 dBz, approaching 60 dBz. There around Flat Rock. Our friend Daniel Harvin's probably out in the middle of this, taking pictures right now, I bet, near Rosalie. Be careful, Daniel. We don't want you ever out in an unsafe situation, and I know all of our sky watchers know that. We want you being careful first, and that's your job, is to remain safe. Take pictures when you can, but only when it's safe to do so. Dutton, you're about to get in the really heavy rain. Sylvania, you're in it right now. Henniger, you've got moderate rain. All this pushing to the northwest. These are the primary cores. Our winds in this area, Emily, are we seeing anything as it approaches the high top radar? You see these brighter colors. They're around 40, 45 miles an hour at peak. They're going to be moving into that US 72 corridor there from Scottsboro to Hollywood to Fackler to Stevenson. That's when we're going to see some tree reports. I'm just telling you. Jackson County, trees just fall when we get wind, and there are going to be some wind reports. So I'd be watching out, right now. Just wait this thing out as it moves through the Scottsboro, Hollywood, Stevenson. Bridgeport, I think you're okay. Going back to the reflectivity, you're probably a little bit north of the primary impacts of this. But you can see the brightest colors. That's where the strongest winds are. That's going to continue migrating. Those cells right there near Ider, Henniger, that are moving northwest, they're the ones that have my attention the most for the potential eventually to produce some local microburst and downbursts in that area. So, but haven't seen many reports, which is good. We start getting them real quickly out of Jackson and DeKalb County when it happens. Summer thunderstorms, Alabama, going to be lightning, going to be torrential rains, going to be occasional trees down. It just happens. So we want you to keep yourself and your family safe on these kind of days. So we're just here with you for a few more minutes to track this. You see the primary reflectivity there, northwest of Ider, kind of north of Henniger. The cell that really exploded there north of Sylvania has rained itself out. You can just watch it happen right there. Emily, if you go back and kind of focus in on that area, see if it did anything crazy with the wind. There you really saw even some darker colors of reflectivity. You see your winds right there. There's a little bit of a microburst right here between Dutton and Sylvania. Didn't amount to much. It doesn't always have to be 50, 60 mile an hour winds. It can be 30, 35 mile per hour winds. And, that's what happened here. So as Emily samples that, you can see. But, if she puts it back in motion, you can just kind of see. It's kind of like almost like one of those bird roosts in the morning. I saw some of those on the radar this morning, but that is literally just the atmosphere slamming down against the earth with those strong winds and then spreading out in both directions. So Dutton, you've got some gusty winds right now. Sylvania, you do as well, and that's where those main impacts were. Approaching Alabama 71 here, and that's where the strong gusty winds are. Thank you, Emily, for pointing that out. That looks perfect. Back to the reflectivity for a second, just so we can take a look at that. And looks like there we go. That cell is definitely raining itself out, so that's good. The stronger storms right now are from Rosalie up to Flat Rock, going back up to the north and northwest a little bit. We're moving into that US 72 corridor. So areas from Hollywood up to Fackler and areas to the northeast, that's what we're going to be worried about. And that's this severe thunderstorm warning right here. Let's go down to the Birmingham metro area and go all the way back to the Mississippi border on I-20 and 459, and then we'll zip back over to the Georgia border so we don't leave anybody out. Lots of warnings in the Atlanta area. Boy, I'm glad I'm flying through. I was flying through Atlanta yesterday, not today, but you see storms exploding now west of Tuscaloosa, and not severe at this point, but certainly lots of strong gusty winds. Very heavy rain. Moving to the west, they're going to move into southeastern Pickens, moving to the northern portion of Greene County as well. Which radar are we looking at right here? Okay, and then as we get into southern Pickens, let's see what these storms look like maybe from Columbus and get a better look at those. Moving through the Aliceville area, they definitely look like they're weakening to me at this point, and I think that's a good sign. And they wait till they get over into Mississippi to strengthen. So that's no slight to our friends in Mississippi, but won't hurt our feelings, will it, Emily? So that's this activity raining itself out over southern Pickens down into northern Sumter. So that's good. Let's go over to East Alabama. And quick stop there in northwest Alabama. The Weather Service trimming that warning. And that's good as those storms lift. I don't think that warning's going to make it much longer.
No, I mean, and it does expire in 3 minutes, so
okay.
I just wanted to take a look at it one more time.
Yeah, you can't, and you got a little bit
to.
of we saw it ramping up just a little bit there south of Yampertown, but hang on to it for a little bit longer here. No real concerning wind signatures at all, but winds are going to be 25, 30, 35 miles an hour. Over to the east side of Alabama, and we'll take a peek at what's going on over there. Yeah, I'm gonna swap something. I'm gonna swap the base because I think my mic is doing some funky things. So I'm gonna stop talking for a second, and I'm gonna let Emily talk, and she's gonna explain to you about these storms in East Alabama real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am unmuted. That's awesome. I'm glad I did that. I'm gonna take the Atlanta radar, the FFC radar here. Like Bill mentioned, we do have quite a few severe thunderstorm warnings across northern Georgia this afternoon now, towards Alpharetta, Roswell areas, and down towards Fairburn, just above that FFC radar there. And so we're watching these because these kind of tell a story for what we're going to see later this afternoon. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning up just south of Chatsworth there. So we are watching these, and we're starting to see some of those storms start to cross the Alabama-Georgia state line here. We've got Ranburne seeing some storms now, Heflin, Jacksonville, and Weaver about to see some thunderstorms there. Nothing severe yet, but what happened towards northeast Alabama is those storms crossed the Georgia-Alabama line. They ended up with a special weather statement, and then they ended up with a severe thunderstorm warning. And I would not be surprised if we see something like that with these storms towards Heflin and Jacksonville as they start to ramp up. Let's see what they looked like over the past 30 minutes. Nothing too crazy with them. They're really they're staying relatively similar, but I wouldn't be surprised to see some sort of development with those. And again, we're just watching the northern half of the state, honestly, seeing some storms pop up. We also have these storms in Florence, which I just noticed. We're starting to see those really start to ramp up here. Let's take a look at our Huntsville radar really quickly and see what those look like. Starting to see some lightning with them for sure, especially as we looked at them right as they crossed over the Tennessee Alabama line there. There's quite a bit of lightning, some hail, maybe for sure, at least some heavy rain, and that seemed to have tapered off some as it hits the Alabama area. But watching this for sure, it's really not moving very much. It's kind of staying right over the Florence-Petersville region, so it might be interesting to see some of that rain rate there, which, Bill, if you'll guide me to see what the rain rates are, the instantaneous rain rates. Okay. There it is. And let's do 3 hour. Yeah, let's do 1 hour. And then let's do some queries there. So, I mean, an inch and a half, up to an inch and a half of rain per hour, or over the past hour there. So definitely interesting to see. We're seeing some rain there as that storm kind of hangs out over the Florence region there. So it's interesting to take a look at that. I don't think the National Weather Service has really mentioned anything about that. I don't see any reports from there. And we also have seen that severe thunderstorm warning in the western portion of the state. It has gone away now. Just storming there, nothing severe. Glad to see that has expired. So now we only have one severe thunderstorm warning in the state, and that's only for the next 15 minutes. So hopefully we don't see any more pop back up, at least for a little bit. But I'll take us to that one more time. Take a look at the Huntsville radar. It's still looking pretty decent here, Bill. I don't
Yeah, and we've
see
got
it
our
really.
first damage report from Pisgah of a tree down on County Road 58, I think. Yeah, County Road 58 in Pisgah, and that's that from that storm that just came through that area. And it, looks like the storm of the hour right now. It's going to be approaching Hollywood shortly. So you might pause the radar in that area, Emily, and then we can kind of take a look at that. This area right here, and go back and see we're hitting 63 dBz now in that area, and take a look at the wind and kind of zoom in. I got to make sure Pisgah is on our map in that area, because that's a primary location, and somehow it's not showing up on our radar right there. And that's a prime location. But they did have a tree down right there. But yeah, that's pretty significant amount. But up there northwest of Henniger, that's where that wind damage report was received in Pisgah. So that's up in a little bit further to the, right there. That's where I got to make sure that's showing up. This area right here, as that wind came through that area. So put that in motion over the last 15 minutes or so without those, and we'll see if we see, you kind of see that moving right here, Emily. That's that primary wind. So that's going to be moving through Hollywood, like we said, crossing US 72 here, eventually moving toward Alabama 79. The radar right up here, this is Skyline, high top just to the north, and that's where our strongest winds are. So you're going to see, when you start getting 40, 45 mile per hour winds, that's when you start getting tree reports. And now we've got a new warning coming into us at this point, and that's a new severe thunderstorm warning for Jackson County from the National Weather Service in Huntsville. It's going to go till 2:30. So that'll populate on our Barron system here in just a moment, and it does right there. And that's going to be for this mini line of thunderstorms as it continues moving to the north. So Emily, if you can kind of zoom in on this area, approaching US 72, and kind of center us down a little bit. Really areas all the way from Scottsboro up through Hollywood and Fackler and Stevenson, a little bit to the north. What else? Let's zoom up just a little further. Areas all the way over to Rash, down to Carnes. That's where we want you just to be ready as these thunderstorms move into your area. Be preferably in a site-built structure away from the outer walls. You don't have to go through your tornado precautions, but we just want you to be safe, especially if you have a lot of trees around your home, because we don't want any trees falling on a room in your house, because that can produce injuries, that can produce death, and we don't want that to happen. But you can see we've got really strong thunderstorms even developing now out ahead of that in the Stevenson area. So they're going up pretty quickly now, and kind of taking advantage of the outflow boundary from our storms to the southeast. Is that kind of what you see, Emily? Is that little outflow boundary there kind of helping to enhance this thunderstorm activity to the northwest?
I definitely would agree with you there. I mean, let me see if I can pause it right where you start to see that outflow boundary before those storms kind of really start to pop up there. Yeah, I mean, you kind of see something moving along from Hollywood, Fackler, just, southwest of Stevenson, and then the next scan you see it starts to really ramp up, and then now as we hit, 1:50 p.m. here, we've got a pretty strong thunderstorm there, and it's now a severe thunderstorm, so I would definitely agree with you there. So
this is that area where those Cape values are around 4,800 joules, approaching 5,000 joules. So you see, Doesn't take long for these thunderstorms to explosively develop, and that's what's happening. Now, the good news is they're going to fall apart just as quickly, but the bad news is when they fall apart quickly, they bring down all of that rain and hail with them, and when they do, that brings down a lot of cooler air, and that dense, heavy air is, of course, bringing a lot of wind to the ground too. So areas here all along US 72 from Hollywood up to Stevenson, really to Bridgeport. We want you just to be cognizant of that. You know, don't be driving around and as this stuff moves through, just kind of stay in a safe place, wait it out, and let it move through. But new storms are developing now from Fackler to Rash and Stevenson. Did we kind of work out our audio issues a little bit, Colby, from what you could tell? Look much better, good. Yeah, I think that mic too, which has always been my favorite mic, maybe beginning to get to a retirement position after a year. So it's maybe not the lab, but it is the unit that is the issue. And we've got a replacement for it. But you see those thunderstorms here now across Jackson County, from Stevenson and Rash down to Fackler, and more storms are right behind it to the southeast. But they may be at least raining themselves out over the northern part. Emily, let's go down to the southwest a little bit here along the Tennessee River and center in on what's moving in on the Hollywood area. And you see, got very heavy rain right now approaching the lake. Colby, what you got?
Speaking of that severe thunderstorm warning, we have a pretty solid view of it moving into the area with our section camera.
Yeah, this is my, you know, you don't want to have favorite children, you don't want to have favorite cameras, but I have to say, this region, Skycam, is my favorite. From Wethington Park and Jackson County, 79 degrees now with a dew point of 64. Wind right now, peak gust 68, but Colby's exactly right. You've got a pretty good look at this. This is kind of looking across the river here, but he was looking back a little bit downriver there a second ago, kind of
try
scanning.
to get it back over there.
Yeah, these cameras are sensitive, but you can see the
finicky.
cores to the that would be to the northeast, I think, right? Probably what I'm looking at.
Yes, or more. I'd say more like northeast, but
Okay, yeah, more northeast, but this is beautiful territory in northeast Alabama. If you don't know our state, this is just a stunning vista, and it's almost breathtaking as you cross the summit there. But right now we're looking at extremely heavy rain curtains, and that's what we would expect. We're not going to see anything here. Except maybe some rain feet. That could be a rain foot right there. That's kind of the signature of a microburst. This is not an especially intense one, but you probably got 30, 35 mile per hour winds rolling up on that, I would imagine. So the thunderstorm downburst comes down, hits the ground, and it can then roll out. And that's what's happening right here. So you're seeing it in real time, and that's what you experience at the ground. What you don't want to experience is one of those when it's coming at you at 55 or 60 miles an hour and causing damage. And we did have damage, I think in Henniger. Was that right, Emily? Earlier that was reported in the Weather Service chat? And that was some carport damage that I saw was definitely there. So, you know, we don't have widespread reports of damage today, but, you know, if it happens in your neighborhood, it's bad enough. And, you know, the skies are dark. I know in the Weather Service chat, Jackson County EMA's got an image in there from looking back toward Hollywood. The skies are extremely dark. It looks very threatening. And it is dangerous today because we have lots of lightning and tons of, torrential rains. And we've got a few of these little wet microbursts setting up over the state of Alabama today. So, Emily, do you have anything? We'll come back to the radar and kind of update everybody. And we'll start with our severe thunderstorm warned storm. And it looks like those reflectivities are really growing in the US 72 corridor.
Yep, absolutely. I was just looking at the winds there, which they're not looking too bad, but we do have some heavy rain there, 58, 54 decibels there. So we are watching, especially this thunderstorm, as it is moving towards the northwest here. You can really see over the past 30 minutes it's developed into quite the beast. And then I will show you those winds that I was looking at just here. So you're seeing some of that brighter green. This is, 39 miles per hour. That's kind of where we're seeing the peak wind gusts or winds with these storms just towards the southeast, east of Hollywood, as we're watching that come through. And then towards Carnes, Fackler, we're not seeing as strong of winds, 15 to 20, 25 miles per hour with some of these winds. So luckily, this storm doesn't seem to be too strong with the winds, but I haven't checked the hail swath, so definitely a chance for some smaller hail with this storm. So we're watching that for sure. I haven't seen any reports of the small hail come through just yet. I am trying to watch the National Weather Service Slack, the reports that are coming in through our social media. So I'm watching, but I'm not seeing anything quite yet, and we're not really seeing a lot of lightning output with this, 11, 10 strikes over the past little bit here. So definitely watching this one. I'll take us back to reflectivity. This thunderstorm does expire in about, severe thunderstorm warning does expire in about 3 minutes. Definitely, like you've mentioned, Bill, it's starting to rain itself out, starting to lose its stronger, what is the word I'm looking for? I'm missing the word, but signage is that it's a stronger storm, definitely starting to weaken there. So glad to see that. But this is really the storm we're watching here in Jackson County with Stevenson, Rash, Fackler, Carnes. Again, these are really the areas that we're watching to see any damage reports come in. US 72 here for sure. We also have this cell towards just southeast of Skyline. It's not in severe or anything, no severe qualities with that, but we are watching that. And then as we take a look towards the south a little bit, we've got Fife, Geraldine, Lakeview, Grove Oak, Moore's Crosswords, section in Dutton. We are seeing some heavier rains through the area, especially towards that Geraldine area. But this one is not severe as well. So, mostly we're just seeing those afternoon thunderstorms that are typical for this time of year. But a few of these do have the ability to become severe, like we've mentioned. We've got that higher Cape values. It's really, really hot outside. It's very humid. It has the ability to really feed off of those temperatures and really form quickly into these severe thunderstorms here. So that's what I've got for you, Bill. I'm not really seeing anything from our Huntsville chat, and I also saw recently our Birmingham chat mentioned that they're not really seeing a lot. The activity is just summertime convection, nothing that will be severe, at least for a little bit. Nothing is really catching their eye, which is a wonderful thing. I might just take that Birmingham radar really quickly. That's the wrong one. We do have that storm that we were watching that's moved through Tuscaloosa now, here, and then south of Barry, here just in Tuscaloosa County, really. We're seeing some storms there, but overall, we still just have these 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, and it's about to be 1. So.
And let's zoom in Jackson County there near Stevenson, in the northern part of that warning, Emily, because I think that's where our downburst is going to happen. May already be happening. So, yeah, I think that's your signature right there. I think the downburst is occurring right here.
Yeah. And
the wind is probably spreading out like this. So, I don't see any really strong signatures, but, you saw that burst in lightning, you saw that reflectivity jump, and, that's your precursor to the wind. And, here it goes. And that's what's happening right now. So you're getting strong gusty winds in Rash. In Stevenson, they're going to be working their way back toward US 72. We're going to get some wind reports in this area in the next few minutes. That's just almost a certain thing. It's summertime, it's Alabama. It's July 3rd, it's 2 o'clock. You're watching the Alabama Weather Network. I think we are down to one warning now. That is this warning, this severe thunderstorm warning for Jackson County. And we're going to continue monitoring them. Your strongest winds right now are probably in that little downburst right there, and here between Carnes and Fackler. That wind signature looks a little stronger to me, Emily. Maybe we can kind of take a peek at that. And that may be probably past its maturity too, but some 30, 35, 40 mile per hour winds there north of Carnes in that area. So, so far so good. We're not getting widespread wind damage reports like all of y'all had the last 2 or 3 days, but it's not over with yet. Hopefully the fact that we got the storms to form a little earlier today may be letting a little of the air out of the balloon earlier, because all the activities this evening are very, very important, and I know we don't want people to be disappointed. So Emily's showing you pixel queries, and we're up about this is really close to the high top radar. So our sampling at this level of the atmosphere is about what, Emily?
We're only at 209 feet.
Wow, see, so we are right off the ground.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, so you're getting a good sampling. So if you're in Carnes and Fackler, your winds are pretty much 30, 35 miles an hour. That feels great on a summer afternoon when it's been 92, 94 degrees, and these heat index values are like Colby's been showing, 105, 110 degrees in some cases. That feels really, really good, and you really enjoy that. But
Bill, I'm curious to maybe just take a look at the temperatures across the state and see.
Let's do it.
Just see what's going on. I mean, I would hope that we're starting to see it start to cool down a little bit. It's still 94 there in Gadsden, but I mean, you can see those cooler temperatures towards west of Tuscaloosa and Lamar, and I'm blanking on the name of that county.
Yeah, Pickens County.
Pickens County. Thank you.
It's a lot
I
cooler.
I started with the P, and I was going to say the other one, and that was not right.
There's 67 counties in this state. It takes you a long time to learn them all. That's
it
for
does.
sure.
But I mean, you can see those cooler colors towards Jackson and DeKalb County there. So definitely starting to see maybe at least a few spots cool down a little bit, but the rest of the state still in the low to mid 90s for the most part. Florence is 82 with that storm I was talking about earlier that moved through, so a little bit cooler, which is definitely nice to see.
Now let's kind of take a radar tour of the whole state.
Yeah.
Maybe start in the north, Emily, and use the Huntsville radar. And you can use those little preset tabs. Those are my favorites.
We've got
and
this one. Let's see if
you've got those across the top of the radar in the analysis tool. And I love those. Because they help you quickly
perfect.
and then
go.
and then you can switch to the Huntsville. We're on the Huntsville radar, so that's perfect. Mm-hmm. So this allows you to quickly see a large area at a glance. But you can see we've got active thunderstorms in northwest Alabama, in the Quad Cities, here from Florence, across the river, mainly into Lauderdale County, a little bit into Colbert County, but maybe our cameras in the Florence area, Colby, might be fun to look at some point. He's over there industriously doing something really cool. I don't know what it is. He's a mad scientist. But this is our Quad Cities area, but I love our cameras in that area. We showed Cherokee a little bit ago. That's where Cherokee is in northwestern Colbert County. But he's acting as the producer and the content creator and everybody. You can see a lot of lightning though north of the river. This is looking from our Renaissance Tower back to the north. Had a wind gust of 42 miles an hour. Now this sensor is well off the ground, so it's picking up wind values pretty high. You can see it's raining heavily right now. And in the distance, you can see even heavier rain. But 79 degrees, and we're looking north, so you really see the amount of rain. A little bit of a rain foot there, so you probably got some strong wind gusts coming out of that, Emily. We'll go back in a second when we go back to the radar. But the temperature is now down to 79 degrees, winds gusting to 42. I don't know about what our UNA camera kind of picked up, and it helps to have your running shoes on days like this, but a little bit of lightning showing up too. as well. And this is our camera from the campus of UNA. Wind gusts to 23 miles an hour there, temperature down to 76 degrees. Very, very comfortable for July 3rd, but you can see the sky looking kind of threatening on this Friday afternoon. There's a really heavy rain shaft right there as we look, and then another really heavy rain shaft back to the kind of the northeast as we watch that. Thank you, Colby. That's beautiful. 76 over 68 with a 23 mile per hour gust. And back to the radar in that area as we look. You can see exactly what we were seeing there. That very, very heavy rain. Emily, shift me to the east. How's the Huntsville area looking at this hour? A few showers showing up in Madison County. They're around the city of Huntsville. Zoom in on the Rocket City right here, and we can take a look. That's a great view from our Monte Sano camera at this point. We'll have a beautiful view, pouring down rain in the city of Huntsville. Raining right now north of Cliff Farm, Monrovia, down to areas north of Madison. You can see all this moving back to the northwest, but the city of Huntsville getting very, very heavy rain right now. But you can see it is kind of peaked. Let's see what the velocities did right there, because that's got a little bit of a wind potential structure. You probably had some gusty winds right in there, nothing too severe. But you know, I don't know what winds looked like at the airport, but they probably didn't gust higher than 20 miles an hour. So back to the reflectivity. This is Madison County, the Huntsville area. That was when the storm was at its peak here about 1:45, about 22 minutes ago. And it's raining itself out. The storm back to the northwest there, north of Cliff Farm, is getting the advantage of that outflow now. It's using that momentum to pick itself up. Going back to the east and zooming out a little bit, that's going to move us down the US 72 corridor and put us back into the stronger activity. That's a great shot right there from Geraldine all the way up to Scottsboro and Hollywood, Stevenson. You see our severe thunderstorm warning. The Weather Service keeping it in effect. It goes till 2:30, and it covers this area right here. These storms, though, are down here in the just outside the polygon. I'd watch those too. They're going to be lightning and wind producers as well. Even though you're not in the polygon there, I want you to treat those with respect too. They'll eventually rain themselves out. They're going to produce those same gusty winds, and then we'll have to see what happens back in this area. Now, big cell down here around Geraldine hasn't been getting a lot of attention in DeKalb County. What do you see from it, Emily? You maybe move us down there. We'll kind of take a peek at it. It's going to get ready to move into northeastern Marshall County here. You know, winds are not too crazy, 20, 30 miles an hour, but going to be a 35 mile per hour pixel there. So, you know, you can have some strong gusty winds as they make their way from southwestern DeKalb County. Get ready to come up the mountain, up Sand Mountain there, Albertville, up from US 431, and eventually going toward the lake. This is Lake Gunnersville. Lots of folks out there. We don't want any lightning stories, so please go ahead and take shelter as these storms approach from the east there in Gunnersville. So back to reflectivity, and here's our Albertville camera. That's great timing.
Yeah, I just wanted to pull that up really quickly since we do have that storm approaching, and I remembered we had an Albertville camera, so I mean, you know, we don't have a lot of wind gusts, but you can see the storm approaching that area there. So.
But there, it's going to be coming because this is waiting on the storms to march up Sand Mountain. 89 degrees there with a dew point of 72, and you can see a stormy looking sky there on our region's sky cam there. So back to the radar and looking back to reflectivity, kind of get an idea, and we can remove our pixel queries, and that's that storm that put it in motion for about the last 15 minutes here. Emily, let's just make sure we're giving a good heads up to our downstream folks. It's not moving anywhere very quickly. Just there's no steering currents really to push that. Everything moving to the west at about 10, 15 miles an hour. Our southern activity down here You know, want to see how long it's going to take it to get to the lake. You know, it's probably going to take it, you know, better part of an hour to get over the lake. But, you know, still, want you to be in your safe place right now, you know, from Guntersville all the way up to, you know, up through Columbus City and Kirbytown, all the way up to Scottsboro. You know, kind of had leapfrogged over you there, Goose Pond Colony and all of those areas. So that's northeast Alabama. Let's go to north central Alabama tab, Emily, and change over to the Birmingham radar. Starting off in east Alabama, we've got scattered activity over Calhoun, Cleburne counties through northern portions of Clay and Randolph counties. Maybe you can zoom me in over here. We'll just talk about some of the activity that's going to be eventually approaching Lake Logan Martin, and we want to be ready for that. Areas up near Ohatchee, all this in the Coosa River system. We want you to be very careful because you know, you're out on the lake today, you're having fun. Not much lightning, but you can tell by our counter it's going up. So you know, lightning is going to become an increasing threat all through this area. Calhoun and Cleburne, Talladega, Clay, and Randolph, approaching the lake here near Riverside, areas from Lincoln back toward Pell City, all down I-20, kind of reminiscent of what we saw last night. You're going to see it again here today. Maybe lifting a little more north than straight west, but watch out in this area. Back toward the Birmingham area, down I-20, nothing going on around Moody, Leeds, that's all good. City of Birmingham looking pretty good right now. Last time I looked at our temperature, I think in the city of Birmingham, we were 95 at the airport, so nothing much has happened there. The activity over the western part of Tuscaloosa County really falling apart. Northern Tuscaloosa County getting some heavy rain. Got an isolated, pretty heavy shower out here north of Coaling. This stuff's pushing into western, or out of western Tuscaloosa into eastern Pickens, but not too concerning at this time. This area has been fairly worked over. South central Alabama, the Maxwell radar. Let's take a look at the bigger picture there on that tab, and looking pretty good through south central Alabama. No problems here. Montgomery radar, a little bit of ground returns here. Looking good though. South Alabama, Fort Rucker radar. We'll go down there. I'll kind of move over and look at the southeast part of the state. Dothan, you're looking good. No problems there. All the way across the US 84 corridor through Elba, Opp, Andalusia, Evergreen, down to Bruton, over to Atmore. Let's go down the coastal section. Somebody's going to show me a Gulf Shores camera because I need my beach fix this afternoon. And I think we will have to turn it around to the north because I think Foley is getting a big storm right now, and that is probably trying its best to edge its way down to the south. So we've got a big storm trying to develop, not much lightning yet, but big cell forming right there near Foley, big cell sitting on the interstate there near Theodore in Mobile County, and but they're pretty isolated, just not much to that. And but if you're out at the outlets in Foley or at the big amusement park in Foley, be careful and be ready. And indeed, Colby has pulled up our Gulf Shore Skycam on the Region Skycam network, and it's looking very stormy back to the north. In fact, if you were looking back that way from the beach, you would nervously be pulling your wagon full of beach supplies toward the condo right now. And I have heard something that's going to delay our lunch even a little further. And what would that be? Who wants to check it?
We've got another severe thunderstorm warning. This is for Jackson and Marshall counties. This goes until 3:15. So we've got an hour for this storm here. It just showed up on our radar, on our Barron system here. So this includes Hollywood, Larkinsville, Scottsboro, Limrock, Aspel. We've got Langston, Section, Dutton. So some of the same areas we've been talking about that have seen some showers and thunderstorms, but we're also starting to expand out into southwest Alabama, or the southwestern portions of northeast Alabama. Kind of confusing there, but we're going to see that storm. It's been moving towards the southwest over the past 15 minutes, 30 minutes or so, and it's going to continue to do so. So.
Yeah, let's kind of get our bearings here and kind of zoom in. So this is our new warning, and it goes till 3:15. Got a big outflow boundary kind of moving across this area, and the Weather Service in Huntsville watching these storms. Let's start off to the north there, and we kind of see what our biggest concerns are. We've got a big reflectivity. We've got this older warning, decent core north of Stevenson that's gone up, putting it in motion over the last 15 minutes or so, kind of to get its behavior. I'd be watching out, kind of zooming in on it. We'll, kind of call out some of the communities there in extreme rural northern Jackson County there near County Road 104. This storm's going to have to come back down at some point, so you're going to get some strong gusty winds that are going to emanate out from this area. So, be ready there, County Road 104, County Road 75. Zoom out just a bit just to give us a big picture. This is just west of US 72 in the northeast part of Jackson County. So that's going to be north of Stevenson and toward the Tennessee border. All this activity is going downhill now. I think it's pretty much done for. Pushing south. This is our older warning. I'll call it our legacy warning. Areas southwest of Carnes. Then we crossed into our new warning. I think that, all that activity, except for that stuff just near the Tennessee border, is pretty much done. This seems to be the new storm. It is getting its energy from this atmosphere here in southwestern Jackson County, back into Marshall County. And just like Emily was saying, all the communities she called out, Larkinsville, back to Limrock, down to Aspel, over to Scottsboro. We were talking about Scottsboro a minute ago, around Goose Pond Colony. This storm is really taking off right now. And as it goes up, it's going to have to come back down at some point. So lots of lightning begin to develop in this area, beginning to develop, and then we're going to have wind. So torrential rain, frequent lightning, and eventually the potential for some damaging winds. We'll take a look at this as we can from our Jackson County camera at section, and then we'll watch this as it continues to expand. Come out just a little bit, Emily. We'll look at the warning. It does include section, which is right here. Some cells forming near and west along the river near Langston, and that'll give us a chance, Colby, to shift that camera back to the southwest. We'll probably get a really pretty look at that cell near Langston right there, which I would imagine is still growing. It's still kind of a baby cell. Emily, what does that look like on lapsing for the last 15 minutes or so? And yeah, you can see that cell's really kind of coming into its own. I know you were trying to get to the camera, so I can talk about all this all day long. The lightning is fairly steady state, nothing going crazy, but you can see all of this very heavy rainfall here over northern portions of Jackson County. This is Pleasant Groves, where our intrepid skywatcher Daniel Harbin picked up that incredible imagery from his drone last night of that shelf cloud that he sent in to us. New cell forming near Holly Tree here as well. We're going to watch that. Colby, what you got? And that looks like the section Skycam.
Yep, fading into the section Skycam, we can't really get a view of the storm you're talking about over Langston, that cell popping up, because the mountain's in the way. But this is the severe thunderstorm horn storm that we're looking at on the Skycam, and you can see it's looking really gnarly, especially with all that rain and then the clouds mixed in above it. It's honestly beautiful, but a little bit freaky to look at.
Yeah, you can see some of the rain curtains coming over the ridges there. But that is stunning. Which one of those homes do you own, Colby? Right there.
I wish I owned one of them, or at least could visit.
Those are some beautiful, beautiful locations in Alabama coming to us from Jackson County. But right there, you can see that torrential rain coming down, and that's what produces these damaging wind gusts, these microbursts on these Alabama summer afternoons. So thank you for that. Keep scouring the skies. Colby, what else you got?
Well, speaking of damaging winds, if we go over to our Tempest network, I have it pulled up. You can see that there were a few pretty gusty winds observed in this area of the state from the earlier storms, including one right north of Cliff Farms. If we look over to the left in Madison County,
Yeah, can you sample that yellow site?
That's the 21.
That's the 21.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. All
Yeah.
right. And you can see the density, Colby, of our networks now.
Mm-hmm.
And the tempests are not always, perfectly sited to get the greatest winds, because they're not at 10 meters.
Yeah.
Which is where we get our wind observations at an official station. They're, most folks have them at 6 feet or something.
We especially ran into that problem when we were looking at heat indices the other day. We saw a couple stations pulling at like 137, and I was like, I don't think that would be entirely accurate. Otherwise, we'd be
some of
getting a
it
lot
you
more
do have to
snooze.
take with a grain of salt. But I'm a big fan of the Tempest sites. I've had mine for a long time, and my main love of it is the maintenance-free feature, because I like something that's going to last a long time, be reliable, and not require maintenance. But you can see this helps us right here because we have dense networks, especially temperature and precipitation. It really, really helps us. So we're going to have a lot of exciting news for you in coming weeks. So we can go back to the radar and kind of give you the big picture. We're tracking a severe thunderstorm over northeast Alabama. We got this warning in the northeastern part of the state. We've got strong storms there in the Quad Cities. We've had a pretty decent storm move through the Huntsville area that is weakened. Fortunately, it kind of fell apart, developing cell now in eastern Morgan County there, east of Priceville and Hartselle. But the main emphasis right now is our main activity over parts of DeKalb, parts of Jackson, and eastern Marshall counties in northeast Alabama. So we want you to just respect the polygon here in these areas, especially near the lake, near the river, Scottsboro over into Jackson County, down into DeKalb County, and back into the northern portion of Marshall County. We're going to be watching that very closely down here around Guntersville and Albertville as well, even though we don't have a warning in that area. We're going to be watching that for the potential for damaging winds too. The instabilities are literally off the scale. Not literally. They're very, very high for any time, and especially here in Alabama, and leading to some very strong updrafts. The good news is we don't have much in the way of shear. Now the great news is the rest of the state's in pretty good shape. We got a storm near Foley in Baldwin County, north of Gulf Shores, that's slowly kind of sinking its way toward the beaches. So if you're at Gulf Shores, it's maybe an early call on the beach this afternoon. Just we don't want you being out there if the lightning gets into your area. We're going to go down there and look at that in a minute. Might be a good time to hit Hazel's or one of your favorite seafood places a little early tonight. But this is the look for North Alabama. North central Alabama, coming from the Birmingham radar. We've got strong thunderstorms over northern Tuscaloosa County. They're continuing to lift to the west and northwest, working their way into Pickens County, southern Fayette County. They're not severe at this time, but they've got lots of heavy rain, frequent lightning, and some gusty winds. We're watching them closely. Other side of the state, I-20 corridor, they really can't get their act together, and that's good news. Northern Talladega, back into Calhoun County. We'll look at our Anniston camera in a second. Back into Cleburne County, back into parts of Clay, Randolph County. We've got some showers, but not much lightning over there. Imagine if we zoom in right here, Emily, we're probably seeing only one lightning strike every 3 minutes. That's not too bad. Pouring right now in Heflin, and that's where the heaviest cell is located right now, centered on US 78 at this point. Very heavy rain just north of the interstate. They are moving, really not moving very much at all, kind of just barely creeping to the northwest, falling apart faster than it's moving. And that's what you get with these pulse thunderstorms in the summer. So taking our Anniston Skycam now from Calhoun County, we're at 86 degrees, but there's Colby's centered up a beautiful picture there of what that looks like. You can see that storm looking back. I think this is looking back to the east toward Heflin, and 86 degrees over 74. But no strong winds there, just a summer thunderstorm afternoon in Alabama. It's July 3rd, lots of activities associated with the America's 250th birthday all across the state today and continuing tomorrow. So take the weather into consideration with any activity that you've got planned for late this afternoon, tonight, your cookouts, your picnics, your fireworks, whatever those activities are. Make sure that you've got the Alabama Weather Network app and a way for you to get weather information wherever you might be. So, but the Skycam network is extremely valuable to us, and we'll go back to the radar here in just a second and see what we can see. We'll focus on northeast Alabama. Right now, that's a quick check of northwest Alabama. Here are our warnings at this point. We've still got this legacy warning, but you can see the activity on the older warning that goes in really, for all intents and purposes, is, no longer an issue for us. It's going to expire at 2:30, according to the Weather Service, but really, for all intents and purposes, is over with. This is our warning of concern. Let's kind of go in and look at it. Is this storm past its prime now, or is it, do we have any areas in here that really, cause us a lot of concern? We're still developing down here in those areas near Kirbytown and Langston. Let's focus on that real quick, because that's really going up, and that's what we want to watch. Any wind structures there? Nothing really of any concern. Just nothing big. The reflectivity again, right there. That cell that's right on the Marshall County line is probably where the the biggest development is going on, just west of the river, west of Alabama 79. So we'll be watching that. Eventually, you might get a little small hail right there east of Grant. That's going to be slowly pushing back to the west. Now, to the north of that, let's look at the older portion of the more mature portion of the storm. Areas from Hollywood along US 72 back to Scottsboro, Larkinsville, to Lim Rock, putting that in motion over the last 15 minutes or so. You can kind of see rain still falling heavily in Hollywood. The rain has really picked up in Larkinsville. This is where the primary core is, spreading down areas just north of US 72 along Alabama 35 into the Lim Rock area. That's kind of sinking slowly south towards US 72. Don't know if I can say that it's really weakening yet. It's probably just kind of feeling its way into the better energy air right here, taking advantage of the atmosphere at this point. And, but the good news is the atmosphere is spent back here to the west. Pausing the radar for a second, just looking at the wind structure, kind of remembering what the reflectivity looks like. Right here on this Alabama 35 corridor, though, what does the wind look like? Our velocity from our Doppler radar at high top, just to the northeast. You see the sweep coming around. It's right there. That's where the radar is. Emily will give us the velocity, and we'll see what it looks like. But there's somewhere in there, there's some kind of little downburst activity probably going on. You got some 30 mile per hour pixels as this as the outflow spreads out from those thunderstorms, and that outflow is probably beginning to sort of energize these storms to the south. So that's kind of the leapfrogging effect that we're going to continue to see through the afternoon. I imagine these storms are mature now. These are going to be the new child storms that are forming. Emily put that in motion. Areas from Grant back up here into the western portions of Jackson County. That looks like that's the next storm. How far can these things, Emily, leapfrog? Can they leapfrog all the way down I-59? I don't know.
I don't know, but I do want to mention there was a report from Jackson County, Highway 72 in Paint Rock. A tree is down across the right-hand lane. So let me zoom in to Paint Rock, this area here. So, I mean, we're not seeing any rain necessarily right there, but we might be seeing some winds out ahead of it. Maybe some, let's see if we can see. Yeah, we have some maybe stronger winds out ahead of this storm. Oh, my screen is gone. I'm back. Well, that's not very exciting to see me with no screen. So you can just put it back to just the screen with Bill for a second for me. Colby, thank you. Until that screen comes back up, which it might be a little bit. But, I mean, maybe some stronger winds out ahead of the storm. So, you know, 38, 45 mile per hour winds there. So, I mean, that can explain maybe that tree coming down ahead of the showers there. So, just, you know, starting to see some of those damage reports coming through. But still, relatively speaking, we're really not seeing a lot of tree down reports, not seeing a lot of damage reports. And, you know, I'm happy to see that, you know, just strong thunderstorms that are typical for your afternoons in July, you know? So.
Yeah, and the emergency managers in Jackson County are some of the best in the country, and they certainly are on top of it always. And you're going to get wind reports. You know, they're going to get trees down. We just have so many, you know, absolutely so many trees in this part of Alabama. It's such a beautiful part of the state, and it's part of the reason why it's so beautiful. But you see very heavy rain now all across this region. Southern Jackson County, you know, kind of stationary to slowly sinking, building, kind of leapfrogging its way to the southwest. Here's our severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 3:15. Correct me where I'm wrong. Emily, but this area right here, be alert for damaging winds, and all these areas where you've got thunderstorms, we want you to be ready for very heavy rain and frequent lightning. So not seeing anything terribly concerning, but lots of outdoor activities, lots of folks out on the lakes and rivers here in northeast Alabama, and just want you to be in a safe place all through the river from areas from Hollywood down into the Scottsboro area, and eventually down into Guntersville. If you'll move me down the river a little bit into Marshall County, and let's put this in motion and look at what's coming into the eastern portion of Marshall County here. You can see that storm is really continuing to ramp up areas north of Albertville. So this is going to be, it's close enough right now to put out a lightning strike along the lake. So we want you to, you know, just be off of the lake and in a safe place there near Lake Guntersville, all along the sloughs of the Tennessee River here north and northeast, downriver of Guntersville. Because this storm right here, while it's not severe, does have frequent lightning and gusty winds with it. Now the good news is, I think it has matured as well because the reflectivity has peaked. These are called pulse thunderstorms in the summer in Alabama. They don't last very long. They're not like these long-lived supercells that we see in all of the other seasons in our state that can hold together for hours at a time. These are thunderstorms that go up quickly, they develop rapidly, and they quickly weaken. And fortunately, that's what we see here. You see that right there. Storm goes up, storm goes back down. And this will rain itself out. Now, can it produce other storms around it? That's very possible, and we're going to be watching that. Now, we were concerned about Morgan County, so we'll shoot back over to areas along and east of I-65, there southeast of Decatur. Got one cell right here south of Hartselle, near Falkville. It's kind of migrating up to the north, not amounting to much. This activity southeast of Summerville, you know, really not very impressive, but just some, you know, moderate rain right in here. Centering in on it, I doubt it's got very much, if anything, in the way of lightning, Emily. And a matter of fact, the count is 0. So that's good news. Northwest Alabama, our friends in the Quad Cities. We've seen some very heavy rain there. Getting really active in northeast Mississippi. The activity may have held off long enough that that's where they're going to get the big push this afternoon. And areas there along I-22, Boonville up to Corinth may be the big push. But storms now forming in southern Colbert County, getting ready to move up into Lauderdale County. But you see there, Emily showing some velocities. We'll zoom in on Colbert and Lauderdale counties and take a peek at what's going on. But you're getting in on the act now, Colbert County. Nothing much showing up on the wind. That's good. It's approaching US 72 here, Cherokee over to Barton. Colby's got something. Colby, what you got?
Well, speaking of the heavy rainfall, I pulled up for our Tempest Network some. Oh wait, I gotta change the links real quick.
Let's do it.
But then I will run over and I can show some of the rainfall amounts that we've gotten.
This
so
is
far
outstanding.
today.
I'm going to let Colby take it full screen here and talk through some of our fabulous Tempest rainfall totals.
All right. Well, starting off, there are a few really high pixels around near Scottsboro. We're looking at over an inch just northeast of or northwest of Scottsboro. Over near High Top, we have about half an inch, and so around here on all of our sensors except for that one, it does tend to be a little less than a half of an inch, if not more than less of a half of an inch. But once we get into the Huntsville-Madison area, especially on the northern side of Madison near Capshaw Road, we're looking at closer to an inch of rain. As you can see with all of these pulling up, we're looking at 0.7 on Holmes Avenue and Mercury Drive, 0.61 inches. There's a little bit of rain in Athens, but unfortunately we do not have any sensors in there. So if any of our viewers live in Athens and want to get a Tempest station, that would be great, because then we can pull you up on the broadcast. But once we get into the Quad Cities area, just north on County Road 639, we have a 1.1 inches. And then as we go north, close to Green Hill on County Road 342, we're looking at 0.64 inches. So definitely getting a good bit of rain on the northern side of Florence. And then once we go over south into the Muscle Shoals area, it is still, there's a good solid pocket of close to an inch of rain in some areas. And so as we move a little bit further south into the north central region, it's a lot less rainfall overall. As you can see, Birmingham's gotten basically nothing on the anywhere east of the downtown area. But once you get a little bit west, over here north of Hueytown, we got 0.36 inches, and then 0.88 inches. So definitely a good solid chunk of rainfall there. And once we get over towards Tuscaloosa, River Vista Drive, 0.71 inches, and then Sewell Thomas Stadium, that's the baseball stadium, right, for University of Alabama? That would be 0.35 inches, and then a little bit further south at the Foster's Boat Landing, we have a little bit over half an inch of rain, and then once we get towards Coal Fire, outside of Reform, 0.77 inches, so definitely a good bit of rain. I do really like Reform. It's a really cute little town. I drive through there pretty often. I'm a big fan of it there. And then Campbell Road, just north of there, between Vernon and Millport, we have 0.44 inches of rain. And moving down a little bit further south, there's a lot less rain here, especially on the eastern side of the state. But once we move more towards the west, just north of Livingston, there was 1.43 inches of rain in Livingston. And so definitely what do you call it, a toad strangler over in that area. Very, very, very wet. And then once we get towards Moundville, 0.65, so definitely a good bit of rain has fallen today. Emily, do you have anything?
I haven't really seen much, honestly. I haven't gotten a lot of pictures or damage reports, just some cloud pictures. But, I mean, we're just still watching that severe thunderstorm warning, and so I don't have anything just yet. Oh, I didn't know I was on the screen. Hello. Well, as I mentioned, I don't really see too much. I mean, we are still, this storm does go until, this severe thunderstorm warning doesn't go until 3:15 here. And besides that, you know, we're morning free. I know we have some special weather statements towards the northeast, and I know some of these storms towards Colbert and Florence counties do have some special weather statements on as well. So you have something? Oh, okay. I'll just turn those on just really quickly, just so we can get an idea of what they look like, and then I'll turn them off so we can focus back on our severe thunderstorm warnings. But I mean, once you turn those special weather statements on, it looks a lot busier across Alabama, Georgia, and into Tennessee. We've got quite a few severe thunderstorm warnings and some special weather statements there as well. But Colbert and Lauderdale counties do have special weather statements until 3 and 3:15 p.m. with the showers and thunderstorms they're seeing. So winds up to 40 miles per hour, and some potential for some hail there as well, but I haven't seen any hail reports come in there. We do have a special weather statement on this storm towards Guntersville, Albertville, Martling, Geraldine. I know I've said that area quite a bit. That goes until 2:45 p.m. And then again, we just have this severe thunderstorm warning until 3:15 for Jackson and Marshall counties, just the northeastern portion of Marshall County there. So yeah, I'll turn those special weather statements off. They can be confusing sometimes. You can add a lot to the view when we're really just focused on our severe thunderstorm warning. So yeah.
All right, so we'll make sure that our little warning up here in northeast Alabama and our storms there in Jackson County are being fairly well behaved. And so Emily, let's zoom in on that storm and kind of put it in motion over the last 15 minutes or so here. You can see it's really kind of expanding, not really growing in intensity, probably has weakened from a lightning standpoint, and that's good news. But we have very heavy rain continuing all along Alabama 7, all along Alabama 35 right now, from Scottsboro back to Limrock. And that's not going anywhere. Got a band of moderate to heavy rain along US 72 from Aspel moving toward Woodville, and that's going to be moving over toward Paint Rock. But pausing that and then looking at the wind velocities in this storm, probably the strongest wind velocities are right there near Pleasant Groves and over toward Paint Rock and Woodville. And, we're talking 30, 40 miles an hour max. So you're going to get a few trees down. It's just inevitable in Jackson County. And I don't have my SLAC reports because my Mac has lost its power. So I'll be reliant on one of you two young folks to check that for me. And we need to look at social media just to make sure there's no reports on there that are important. But that's good. Emma, if you'll take me back to reflectivity and zoom me out just a little bit, we have this severe thunderstorm warning till 3:15 for Jackson and the northeastern portion of Marshall County. Now, just south of that, there's a special weather statement for that storm that's lurking there just east of Guntersville. And it's going to have gusty winds, lightning, and very heavy rain as it moves toward the lake. So we want you to be careful if you're out on the lake. Now, the good news is the overall intensity of these storms has gone down over the last hour. And that's really, really good news. We've only had a few reports. We had a carport damage near Henniger. We had a tree blocking County Road 58 a little bit earlier. And we had a tree down near Paint Rock. So far so good. The atmosphere kind of boiled over a little bit early today, I think is my best explanation. And maybe that's a good thing. Yesterday it waited. The lid stayed on longer. It had more time to boil. And when it boiled over with greater impact. Last night, in parts of Etowah, Jackson, DeKalb counties up through Marshall County. Now, the trend on the convection allowing models is that the remainder of the afternoon and night will be calmer. Now, will that happen? We don't know. As James says, all models are wrong, some are useful. Let's hope these are useful, and that we can get most of our celebrations in on this July 3rd and July 4th, which it's showing a lot less activity tomorrow. Not that we're going to have no activity. That means your picnic could get completely rained out, but it probably is not going to rain all day. But you could get, you could have to go inside for a while. So just be ready for that. Be prepared to have plan B just in case. If you're planning a day out on the lake, this is a thing you have to always be ready for. So that is northeast Alabama. This is what we're looking at. Those are the two primary areas of concern. This cell here in eastern Morgan County really can't get its act together. Huntsville had some heavy rain earlier, and Colby looked at all the great rainfall reports a little bit earlier. We got a cell still in northwestern Madison County, but it's not amounting to much. Going back to the west, moving the radar back through the I-65 corridor, back through Limestone, Lawrence counties, nothing going on there. You get into the northwest corner of the state, Colbert County, you got some heavy rain just south of the river in that area, a little bit in the western portion of Franklin County as well. Back in northwestern portions of Lauderdale County, some heavy rain there, but that's all gone downhill. Pushing south into areas in west central Alabama, Fayette County, northwestern Tuscaloosa County, got some heavy rain down here. Emily, if you can move me down areas south of I-22, the heaviest rain, maybe look at the Columbus radar. Southeastern Fayette County, zoom me in here to Pickens and Tuscaloosa. Maybe do me a little box zoom in this area. Let's look at that. And so you're going to be mainly centered from Carrollton up to Gordo. This is going to be slowly pushing to the south or to the west, really. Areas here from US 43, northern Tuscaloosa County, back into southern Fayette. Areas near Berry, it's finally raining. Put that in motion over the last 15 minutes or so, Emily. And you can see all this activity is kind of falling apart slowly. The activity over Fayette County is really kind of beginning to ramp up as it sort of moves into better air here. South Central Alabama has been just basically out of luck all day. Probably I wouldn't say out of luck, at least out of luck in the rainfall department. In the good luck in terms of those storms today, so not much going on there. Moving down to the Mobile area, we had a heavy rain cell sitting right over Foley in Baldwin County a little bit earlier. Emily, if you can move us down to the coastal zone, we'll take a look at what's going on there and take a look at the Mobile radar. That cell kind of flared and then sort of fell apart. You can see definition, pulse thunderstorms. Move me over to Mobile County, center on this area. Had some heavy rain on the interstate right there. Areas just west of Mobile, Theodore, Dawes, that area north of Biolobattery, it's falling apart. So that's good. The storms are using the energy pretty efficiently and then getting out of the way. So I think we're going to be able to leave you pretty soon here. Not much else to talk about. We'll go up and look at our northeast Alabama activity one more time because that's our primary concern.
So I will say I do have a few damage reports coming in as well as some pictures.
Okay, we're going to go over all those. I think we've lost our severe thunderstorm warning.
Looks like it, yeah. It was supposed to expire at 3:15, but they expired it and they put a special order statement on it.
That makes sense. We're just not getting widespread reports. Now, we are getting some reports, and I'm going to go to Emily and WEX 05 for some of those.
Yeah, so first I just want to talk about some damage reports I saw out of Huntsville. We had a power pole near Woodville. It was blown down and now it's sparking, so we're watching that. I might want to check the power outages map as well just to see if we're seeing any power outages. But the Scottsboro, there's a tree down in some trees down in Scottsboro and Skyline as well. So we're seeing some reports from that. And then I wanted to show you this picture from Scottsboro. This was from 2 p.m. It's, I'm getting kind of behind with these storms and whatnot, but these pictures, but I just thought this was a really, really cool lightning picture in Scottsboro there. We have, this is from Daniel Harbin. He's been up in the northeast corner of Alabama as well as we're tracking these storms and he's tracking them as well. This is from Skyline. So thank you, Skywatcher Daniel Harbin. I know he takes his safety precautions. This is in Albertville, so this is relatively recent. You can see that rain shaft there from those storms, that severe thunderstorm warning that has now been downgraded to a special weather statement. And then lastly, here's another picture, some trees down. This is on Elliott Drive in Henniger. So definitely starting to see some of these tree down reports finally come through, like Bill was talking about earlier, that we were going to see. You know, he said, you know, one thing you're going to see in Jackson County is you're going to see some trees fall, and we definitely have seen that. But overall, we really haven't seen a lot of reports, and that is really encouraging and part of the reason why we're no longer in a severe thunderstorm warning. So,
well, we've covered a good bit today. Unfortunately, we haven't had much damage. We've had a dozen tree reports, and that's good. We have some power outages. Centered mainly around Madison, Jackson counties, and northeast Alabama, just scattered outages across the rest of the state. Nothing major. If your power's out, it's a major deal, but just know that the linemen and linewomen of all the various utility companies across Alabama are working extremely hard to get your lights on. They pride themselves on this and work extremely hard in extremely dangerous and extremely difficult conditions to make this happen for us, and I have an extremely high appreciation for them when this happens. So just know that they're working to get that in place. I'll take one more look at the radar and take you back to that. We're looking basically at the northern half of Alabama. Got a few storms in the northwest corner of the state, up around the Quad Cities. Got activity over here in the northeast Alabama. All of our warnings are gone now, centered mainly in Jackson, southeastern parts of Madison County. Got some activity down here around Lake Gunnersville. Not anything too significant. North central Alabama, the western part of the state, over around Fayette County. That's where our next concentration of activity is. And Emily can move us down to southern Fayette County on reflectivity. And you can see that centered right here, southeast of Fayette, through the Kennedy area, back up to the northeast. That's where it's raining heavily right there. Eastern Alabama, not too bad there. Just some heavy showers, southern Calhoun County, back into southern Cleveland County, back into the northern portions of Clay County. This is moving very slowly to the west, hasn't amounted to much. Back into south central Alabama, not anything going on. South Alabama, nothing going on there either. And we just checked on coastal Alabama. Mobile, Baldwin County, just a few light showers in Mobile County at this time. Dying shower there near Foley. So at this point, we're going to go back to programming. We're going to eat our lunch. We're going to be watching the weather, the radar, very, very carefully to make sure nothing else happens. But I think at this point, the atmosphere has sort of boiled over for the day, and I think the worst of the activity is over. Just keep your Alabama Weather Network app handy, and if any more notifications come, we will be right back through all the afternoon and through the evening. But for Emily Kirk and for Colby Sheehan, I'm meteorologist Bill Murray, live in Studio A.
Live, statewide, 24/7. It's the